mean, at this point, it's well known in this country what exactly happened. That after the can rock boom of the 90s, there was a bit of a vacuum, and the new millennium came and went. And then there was a pocket, a group of friends and musicians that birthed a whole new Canadian musical ecosystem. And to the casual listener, it seemed like all of a sudden, every Canadian band with buzz and chops and interest came from this one musical community that straddled the cities of Montreal and Toronto. Bands like Broken Social Scene and Stars and Metric and Wolf Parade and The Stills. And our next guests, they are Lightburn and Natalia Yanchak, most commonly known as the core duo of the band The Deers, who put a heavy stamp on indie pop in Canada. Along the way, the musical partnership became a life partnership and then a full-on family. And that now is a band that might be making some of the best music of their entire career. If you're a fan of this band and Murray's voice, you know that the songs have always been good and maybe a taste of more apocalyptic, maybe a little bit darker. But are you ever in for something different on their latest record? Take a listen.
As the night falls and my babies are home, I thank the Lord and I turn off the phone, 'cause tomorrow is another day. Yeah, tomorrow is another day.
That is a little bit of the, I'll say it, maybe joyous tune, Tomorrow from The Deers' brand new album titled Life is Beautiful, Life is Beautiful, Life is Beautiful. The album is out now. This year, Montreal as The Deers celebrate their 30th anniversary, and I'm so pleased to welcome Murray and Natalia to Q. How are you?
Good.
How are you?
That is the sound of two people who just drove from Ottawa.
Yeah, in the snow.
How was the drive?
It was fine for a while, and then there was like a snow squall, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to
Canada,
slow
man.
down.
Did you have a full stop in the middle of the highway?
Well, we had to get to
yeah.
Toronto. We had to get here.
Oh, so I am the cause of your stressful drive from Ottawa. is what
God,
you're
no,
telling me.
no. Heavens no.
So I don't mind. I'm happy. Listen, I'm happy to be the cause of your stress.
This was my mantra. I was like, right before we left, we put on our winter tires. I was like, we have our winter tires. We have Quebec plates. Nothing can stop us.
And you know what? You're optimistic. You're an optimistic band now.
We're always optimistic.
We've always been optimistic, actually.
Hold on. So is that my misunderstanding of the band? Because I did feel like this is a happier, more optimistic record than in years past.
Here's the thing. In my mind, I think for us, highlighting the doom is what births the optimism. So I think maybe in the early days we might have had a bit more of a spotlight on the doom side, but in the songs there was embedded in the songs was always like, but we're gonna make it, or we're gonna get through, or we're gonna don't lose the faith. And
yeah, fair enough. I never
like
saw
that,
you as like a pessimistic band or anything.
It's
like
hopeful.
That. Yeah.
There's hope
But it
in
seems
there.
more obviously hopeful on this new record, maybe I would say.
Yeah, but now I'm a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
And, the experiences that I've had, I've had lots of troubles in my life, but I've had tons of triumphs. And so I think about the triumphs more as I get older than I think about the failures. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's an old expression back home, which is we must live in hopes, supposing we die in despair.
Wow.
What other option do we have?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it for the interview today, then. That's how I come up with a fine way to do a Newfoundland aphorism, and then the interview's over. I thought we might go back a little bit and talk about the story of the band. Natalia, I don't know a lot about your musical background. I know, and you were a music journalist for a while, and I know you since you were in the band. Did you grow up in music around the house, musical family? Or?
No, absolutely not.
No.
No, I mean, my mom insisted that we took music lessons, my sister and I. So I think that was more like our gateway, is that we were both in like violin and piano lessons from a super young age. And then that's, but my parents are not musical at all.
So how did you find yourself? Because you were a music writer. Were you a music journalist?
Yes, a music journalist.
How did you find yourself in that world?
Okay, I like to say that comes from like, having computers. Like we always had computers around the house. And I used to like mess around with recording and like finding, apps and, just playing with sounds and
Fruity Loops and stuff like that? Or?
keep going back. I'm thinking like Winamp or something.
Fast tracker, maybe?
I had Winamp with the visualizer.
Yeah, like just like some very rudimentary, we're talking about many years ago now. But yeah, I think, and I was always like interested in music. I played music. I recorded it. I taught myself guitar. I went busking with my friends when I was a teenager.
What kind of songs were you playing when you were busking?
Oh my God, we were playing Indigo Girls.
Okay.
I would pay so much money to see these days of Natalia.
Singing Closer to Fine on the side of the road
Oh my
somewhere.
God, I would pay so much money to see that.
And then when I moved to Montreal, I also co-hosted a radio show at CKUT. And I think I just knew that I wanted to be like in music, like
in the world.
It interested me, yeah. And I think like for me, like now I recognize that like I'm not a composer, but I'm a musician. I'm still a musician and a performer. And, being in music is also like, this is very boring, is a lot of admin, like I do, like I appreciate that, like the sort of artist management side of it and the like business of it.
Right.
So it's kind of a balance of those two things.
I mean, it sounds like in that world, when you're in the worlds that you were living in, you were also like, you were in the sort of creative world, and you were also in sort of like the how the sausage gets made world. When you're doing sort of kind of music journalism, you're also looking at like trends and all that. So I want to get to how you ended up in the band in a second. But Murray, I think the last time you and I talked, we talked about your dad, who is a gigantic Coltrane fan, right? Like, and had a.
Oh my God, yeah.
Did I hear something that he had the Wi-Fi was in?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi network was called Coltrane, and the password was "Love Supreme." It was the most hilarious.
Spectacular.
thing.
So gigantic John Coltrane fan, lover of music. We know that. What I didn't know before when I was getting ready for this is that he didn't necessarily want you to be a musician, though.
No, he was really like not really into it at all.
Why? Because he would have thought, Did he just know that it's a hard road, or?
I don't even really fully understand, because what was so weird is as I got older and I was in music and invited him to play on some of the records, it was like the happiest I've ever seen him in my entire life. It was just being around music and microphones and playing music and so it was interesting to see. I mean, he was a man of so few words.
Right.
I will never really know him at all.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
We're going too deep into a territory, but I guess it's just like I'll never really fully understand. I think he just wanted something different for us. He didn't want us to do sports. He didn't want us to do music. I think maybe he wanted us to do something else, and then
something a little more. Yeah, I mean, I understand. It's something
something real.
Yeah, something real. I often,
Well, I was just saying in the green room before, just talking about how like now we have these kids, and now they're tethered to us in this life, and one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to be repelled by this life and be like, I got to get a real job, this is nonsense, or they're, like our daughter now plays in a band, can actually sing and play, really talented kid, and is keen to know more, and is just assimilating. And there's nothing we can do about it. I can't make it stop. It's like a train without brakes now. So I don't know what to do about that. But I understand why my father was a little
nervous about
didn't do it. Yeah. Because I've been in it for 30 years and. It ain't an easy gig.
Well, when the band first started, I want to get into how Natalia joined in just a second. But when the band first started, was there any grand vision? Did you have any idea what you wanted to do?
I didn't. It was only when Natalia and I got together with this band was that I started to get more. Natalia brought all the structure, of course.
What were you before? What were you before then?
Just a guy carrying around a 4-track around Montreal with a microphone and, just recording songs.
What kind of songs? Like what kind of music were you?
All the early stuff from the Deers, like some of the songs that wound up on the first album, I would go, because I didn't have any instruments of my own most of the time. I would go to my friend's house and borrow his parents' piano and record some piano, and go to another guy's house and record some drums, and go to another guy's house and borrow his guitar and amp, and I had nothing.
So Natalia, then you joined. Can you tell the story? Because what I had heard was you were asked to join the band to play keys, and you thought it would be terrible.
No, I didn't think it would be terrible.
That's a quote. That's a quote I found. I thought it would be terrible.
Well, okay. We had a mutual friend who said that, hey, there's this band, the Deers, they're looking for, he was the keyboard player at the time, right?
No, well, he was helping out sometimes,
Yeah. And then he was like, this band needs a keyboard player, you should check them out. And so I went to see them at this bar. The bar was terrible, like is notoriously like I won't name names, has like the worst techno, like worst sound system, it's just like a dive.
Okay, maybe I missed that. Okay.
So I was like, right. I did expect it to be terrible. I was like, this show is gonna suck.
Okay, right,
this band, I'm just going to this cruddy bar to see this band. I had low expectations. And I was like, oh, actually, it was actually great.
We killed it that night.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
it was great. Yeah.
It was like, I still remember that show. It was packed and it was incredible.
Did you know that I was going to be there? Did you?
I hoped you were going to be there.
Did you put it on a little bit because you knew she was going to be there?
exactly.
Yeah. Did you put it on a little bit?
If I close my eyes, I could see my view from the stage, and I could see her at the back of the room with her arms folded.
Classic. Me too. That's the best way to be at a show, by the way.
Shaking my head slowly side to side.
This is 1998, bro.
Yeah. You remembered it all very clearly. The drive from Ottawa hasn't shaken you at all. So when Natalia, so what happens? Mary sits down and says, you want to do this? You want to play in the band?
I think I went to a rehearsal,
Yeah, you came to a rehearsal.
I came to a rehearsal and we just started
getting
jamming
going.
and seeing if it was, if it was a good fit. Even though I don't want to say it's a good fit, that's like really cheesy thing to say.
It's real. It is. And then, so that leads me to that thing you were just about to say, that you said the band didn't really start till Natalia joined the band.
Pretty much.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I think like for the first few years, we were just, playing around Montreal. We used to play, play all these shows with other Montreal bands. Sam was one of them at the time. We used to play shows with Sam all the time.
Sam Roberts?
Yeah. I've known Sam forever. And so we all, were just playing these crappy bars together. Well, we put these shows on together because, no one could afford to rent the room and all, pay to play kind of nonsense back then. And we didn't really know what we were doing. We'd make demos and stuff like that. And I didn't have any understanding of what would be the next step. And then Natalia came in and she was like, oh, we need a CD. We need a 8x10. We need biomaterials. We need to, put this in an envelope and send it to press. And we need to, try to get on a label and get a label to put it out and all this. She knew exactly what we needed to do because she was on the other side doing, she was at CKUT and writing record reviews. So she knew how a band gets more public facing, And I was, like I said, just walking around town with the 4-track in people's jam spaces and houses.
Making you said, hey, this thing has this music has something.
Yeah, it's like, well,
and she could see the through line.
If I'm going to join this band, then we're going to take it seriously.
Yeah, and I kind of immediately kind of hated that kind of stuff, so it just carried through that she would handle that kind of thing, and I would handle the other thing. Like I'm going to go and 4-track this, and you're going to. We'll get together and play it all, but you're going to do the other things, that I hate.
What's the song? I've got the brains, you've got the brawn, let's make lots of money. I don't know which is which, but,
Not long after that, then...
our roles complemented each other.
Yeah, and not long after that compliment really starts to work. Can we play some music here?
Have you ever heard of Sheed? I won't advise, it's full of lies. Oh, trust me, I know. 'Cause I believe it's so.
That is the Deers with the first song off their album, End of a Hollywood Bedtime Story. Hold on, I want to know about the reactions. You both looked at each other and went, oh. Whew.
Holy Christ.
Why? What was going through your mind hearing that?
It's just such a trip. I never listened to that stuff, ever. And so it's when I think of the 110-pound version of Murray singing there, I remember like even just hauling that 16-track up your apartment just to record the vocals, drinking white wine spritzers. I remember that. We were hauling up this 16-track that we rented from Steve's Music, and it weighed 1,000,000 pounds to me at the time. We recorded on 16-track. We were so broke, we had to record it at 7.5 IPS as opposed to 15.5. It's super nerdy, but like it was the cheaper way to record. Basically, you got more time on the tape. You got 30 minutes. So that's what it was. We had one reel of tape. That's what we had, and we recorded it ourselves. And some of it in Natalia's apartment, the Salmon Palace, as it was called.
Because it was painted. It was
The hallways were painted.
That song took off. That song did really well. I mean, that was the first song I heard of you guys.
Man, so many of my, colleagues that remember that record, just like hearing that, it's heartwarming. Just like how many people like, wow, and I can't, believe you guys were making that at that time.
Yeah, it was a little bit earlier than everybody else too, right? Yeah.
I mean, it was, I don't know what we were doing. I just knew that, and this is the thing that's funny about, the dynamic between me and Natalia is just like, I would say, okay, I want to play with, strings and horns and stuff. Like we can't do that, like it's like, how are we going to do that? How are we going to get all these people on stage? And she was just thinking logistically of how we were going to, it's just like, no, but this is the music we got to make. This is what we're going to do.
This is a show we have to.
It's the show we got to put on. This is what we got to do. And it was just super ambitious at the time. We were playing these, petit compass, putting like literally 18 people on a stage, like 6 horns and, strings, and then like 3 keyboard players and 2 guitars. It was
giant
just
keyboards.
Stupid.
Yeah,
giant keyboard. It was just insane.
Did you guys feel like you were part of a scene?
I didn't know what was going on until one day. We were deep in a tour, and I remember we were at JFK Airport, and I picked up a Spin magazine, and there was a huge spread about the Montreal scene. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? And we hadn't been home for months, so we had no idea what was going on.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was wild.
Because you were in Montreal and playing a lot of shows and part of that scene.
Everybody was just on the road.
Yeah, it's true.
All the time.
Yeah.
The one time I remember, like when we were like we did this trip to Japan. It was like us, Death from Above, Metric, Stars, and Social Scene, and it was like we were all just constantly on the road and had converged in Osaka or whatever it was
to meet up and go, what the hell's happening
and we played these shows together.
Yeah.
In this thing, and it was like, it was a truly like in the storm, in like moment. Like I don't think anybody knew what was actually going on if you were in it.
You mentioned the meeting up with Stars there in Osaka as part of the bands you mentioned. We have a bit of a surprise for you. Just take a listen to this.
When I first moved to Montreal, my buddy from primary school, Matt Watkins, said to me, "Oh, you have to meet my friend Murray, who lives here. Here's his record. It's called End of a Hollywood Bedtime Story, and he's in a band called the Deers, and you two would love each other. And he's born on the same day as you, and he loves the Smiths." And I put the record on, and it's hard to describe what it was like to hear something like that at that time coming out of Canada. But I suddenly felt like maybe there were kindred spirits in this country that I could latch on to other than the people I grew up with, who I formed Stars with. We went to New York because we had no connection to what was happening in this country. When I heard the Deers, my mind changed, and then they played a show in Montreal, and I hadn't met them, but I went to see the show, and I went backstage afterwards, and I lay down on the floor. I prostrated myself in front of Murray because I knew that I'd met the Pope of Canadian indie rock. the guy with more guts and more glory and more talent and more craziness and more vision than any of us. And it's been a love affair ever since.
That's Torkel Campbell, co-lead singer of the band Stars. So,
I'm crying.
Oh my God, Mom, you're crying?
I just drove for 5 hours.
Here, take that. I got the Barbara Walters tissues there. Don't worry about it. What do you make of hearing that?
I mean, he's my brother. What can I say? You know, like we're still really pretty close. And after all this time, I remember meeting Torque for the first time, and I knew, okay, we're gonna be friends.
Natalia, why does that give you such a reaction?
Well, we just saw him like the other day. Like he came to our show in Montreal, and we just had a nice. And then we saw his.
I'm very emotional right now.
More sleep.
I bet.
And then we saw his other project, Total Effing Darkness.
It was incredible.
And it's just like we just had a chat with him, and it's just so nice to, know that we're all still doing it. You know,
you can tell that there was a scene that he was so happy to find himself in within Canada. Let's move on to let's talk a little bit about the new record. Take a listen to this.
When we start to fall apart, the world's not far behind. But if we just remember to stick together, our love is covered in blindness. Oh, we'll find a way. We'll find a way. We'll find a way.
That is Babe Will Find a Way from the Deer's brand new album, Life is Beautiful, Life is Beautiful, Life is Beautiful. The story is the crowd chanted something like that?
No, the title?
Yeah.
No, what happened was we were playing this show in Montreal
with Stars.
With Stars.
Yeah.
Right.
Our good friend Stars. We were doing this 20th anniversary shows for albums that came out.
I remember, yeah.
And we were on stage, and I had a moment on stage where I was like kind of looking around the room, and it was just an incredible night. And my kids and my mom were up in the balcony. Natalia was right there, and I just, I was thinking about kind of like, because we had some rough times, at home, and but we kind of pushed through it, and I was just having this. I just wanted to encourage the audience that, even when times get hard, you got find a way to push through, because life is beautiful, and then I said life is beautiful, and I had them say it back to me 3 times, and then after that high went down, I kind of was really, it stayed with me that night and that moment. And so that's when I realized, okay, that's what we're writing, right now. That's what this album is.
But that's what I mean. That when I was going back to the beginning of like, is this a slightly, maybe it was my framework was wrong, that it's a slightly more optimistic record, or to say that more is the problem there. But obviously something happened. Obviously there was some sort of decision around life is beautiful, life is beautiful, life is beautiful to want to write something a little bit more uplifting, or just to make some sort of artistic decision.
I'll just give you a little anecdote about this record, and something that if people were to put it on and listen, to keep in mind, a quick little backstory, if I may. So a couple summers ago, we were having a really rough time around the house.
Yeah.
With one of the kids.
Yeah.
And it was rough, like rough. And I know a lot of parents out there, when their kids get into their adolescent years, it gets rough. Like, I thought we were going to make it through. It's like, oh my God, she's 17. We're going to make it.
Yeah.
I can't believe this. And then like that summer happened, and, things really got rough.
Yeah.
And it took all of everything to get through it. And I always tell, some of my other friends, it's like, I was frontline, helmet on, bayonet parenting. Like, I'm right here. I'm not giving up on this situation. Like, we're gonna get through this, and then fast forward, 18 months later, same kid is in the studio with a handful of her friends. I got them to sing on the first song.
On this record?
On this record, gotta get my head right? And for me, I'm like, I got my headphones on and I'm listening to them do the track, and I'm like, I'm bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
Because we made it.
You got through it.
We got through it.
And therefore that hits the Life is Beautiful thing so much more, you know what I mean? Like it really,
Yeah.
It makes you get. Can we play a little bit of the song so we can just compose ourselves all here a little bit?
Suck it up, buttercup. This is just the beginning of what's to come. You don't wanna get left in the dust, so you better move off of the dime. And I know what gets you down, kid. Oh, I know what gets you down.
That's the Deers with Gotta Get My Head Right from the new record. I wasn't ready for the guitarmony moments that come up a little bit later. I wasn't ready for
Hey, man, when you get through it, it's time for guitar harmonies. Come on.
I wasn't ready for the glam rock moment that happened a little bit later.
For me, it's like this is where we're pushing through, we're celebrating, and that to me, it's the sound of celebrating. Like we're having a good time now.
Can you isolate a thing or the thing you are most proud of in the history of this band when it comes to this band?
There's longevity there,
Yeah.
that we didn't give up on it,
We could have.
We
many
could have.
times.
We could have
And
broken up.
we both quit the band several times.
Many times. And we were just like, you can't quit. We just leave it and then, come back to it. And
that you've kept going, and then the audiences are still there for you, and it's a beautiful thing.
that we have enough, we believe in it enough that,
There's still some gas in the tank.
there's still something in it that we're going to work for it. And it's like, music is tough. Being an artist is tough. So you have to want to fight for, what you want to make and what you want to say. So I think that the fact that we're still here and we're still fighting, let's just keep fighting.
If I may,
Please.
take a moment.
Please.
I just want to say that it's actually like moments like right now that we're experiencing right now with you on your show. We really appreciate that stuff because, you could talk about so many other things. And I don't take it for granted at all that we're sitting here talking to you and your audience about this at all. This is where I am in my life. I savor it all, and I appreciate this. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you in. We were really excited about having you in.